And I mean, not really interrupt me, I can't claim space in the gym, but here I am. So we're gonna get through this. Stability drills. And we're gonna go over some stability drills because you need to make sure that your joints are not only like mobile to do strength movements, but you also need to be stable, obviously. If not, you can really get hurt. So making sure, your wrists are stable, your shoulders are stable, like the main movers. Knees, ankles are huge. It's not only gonna help if you have better stability and mobility in these, in these joints and things, it's gonna help with your strength, but it's also gonna help make sure you stay safe, okay? So we're gonna run through a few, and I kind of have all my little devices here, but making sure that you have a strong core and you really train your core in its entirety, its lower back, its front. All of that is really, really important because your core is your center. So that's a really good way just to make sure that you're stable. Your core being stable is really, really important. That's not the only thing that matters, okay? So I'm gonna start with just like basic. It might seem super easy, like, oh yeah, okay, that makes no sense. That's not even an exercise. But some people really do need to start here, and they can't stand on one leg, and that's okay. So literally where you would start is making sure you can stand on one leg. I know it seems very silly, but there are people that need to start here and they can't do this. So everyone starts somewhere. If you're not able to really just hold yourself up in this position, just hold yourself and make sure you look around. That's the next step. So focusing on one spot is always going to help your balance. So just stare at one spot. And then if that's no longer a challenge and you can kind of look around, talking, just looking, making eyes wandering, that challenges your core a little bit. I can already kind of feel, I feel my body pulling myself in either direction. It's very slight, but I can feel it, right? And then you would just do the same thing on the other leg. And just holding yourself here and looking around, challenging yourself is a really good place to start, all right? So next, we have these little discs, and you can get these on Amazon, but they're really small to the floor because we do not stand on BOSU balls, okay? You see that sometimes, and I've done it before. That's for fun because not trying to sound rude, I know that I can do it, you know what I mean? But there's no benefit that I'm getting from standing on that stability ball. That's just for fun. Like me, I want to try fun different things, and I'm also not doing it like an 88 with a 50-pound dumbbell or anything. I'm just kind of doing it for fun. But do not stand on the BOSU ball. That's why they make these. So these on the ground, and then you literally would do the same thing. So you just step on it. So stare at one spot. It's actually really hard. So stare at one spot. Remember, like I said, that makes it easier. And then if your eyes start to wander, that makes it a little harder. My leg's shaking. Starts to wander, makes it a little harder. But this is just a really good way. Ankle stability. Same thing on the other leg. All right, and then just start where you are. Like I said, stare at one spot. My leg's getting wobbly. And then you can kind of look around. If you need to keep your foot kind of tapped in the back, or just hold on to something really light eventually so you can get off of it, that's fine too. But that would be like your next step, to kind of balance on one leg on an unstable surface that's also not like 8 inches off the ground. You know what I mean? Like this is like 3 or 4 inches off the ground. So if I was to fall, it's not the end of the world. Okay? So those are some really good, just for like ankles and knees and things like that. The next one I really want to get into is a single leg deadlift. So although yes, this is the strength exercise, you can use it as a strength exercise, it is a good stability exercise. And you basically just kind of on one leg, hinge forward. I always suggest that whenever you're first starting, reach for something in front of you. So, and it's getting crowded in here, but we're gonna keep going. All right, so boom. Okay, and then same thing on the other side. So this is really good for your hips, your core, back, all that good stuff. Okay, so next thing we're gonna get into, so that was the lower half. I kind of wanted to make sure I kept it segmented. So that's good. So the next thing that I wanted to get into is the shoulders area, and then we're gonna kind of work our way down to our wrists and things like that. But yeah, so the shoulders, some really good moves that you can do are going to be what's called a Y press, a T, a W raise. There are just different names for them, but basically you form your body into these letters. Okay, so here, nice soft elbows. Now you can do this without weight too. So definitely recommend doing it without weight to start. So you would just do the movements, nice soft elbows, bend, hinge forward. Remember, we always hinge at the hips because we don't want to just fall back like that, right? So nice tight core, hinge at the hips, and then from there, you would keep your elbows nice and soft, and then turn into like your body into a Y. So you see Y, and then you come down. All right, this really just good mobility, stability in your shoulders. Again, you can do it weighted. So all of these you can do it weighted and unweighted, but I suggest using very, very lightweight. This isn't meant to be like a strength heavy exercise. So here. All right, and then the T raise is just straight out this way. All right, and then finally W, palms facing forward, back. So yeah, that's kind of like weighted how you can do it for your shoulders. And then if you get on the ground, you can do some raises as well, which is also really good, not only for your shoulders, but for your back and things like that. So I'm going to show you those real quick. I got space. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we're flat. Flat on the floor. Arms in front of you, and then you lift up into a Y, and then relax. Up into a Y, and relax. Up into an arm and relax. Okay. So, kind of the same thing. And then we're gonna get into wrist mobility. So, wrists are really, really important. That's why I have the Bosu out here. That's gonna be a good one that you can do. But the only way that you're gonna use the Bosu with the flat side up. You're not gonna stand on it, okay? Because again, what I'm gonna show you, we're a couple inches off the ground. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so, all right, and this is if your push-ups on the floor are good and stable, and you have nice, strong wrists there. If you don't have the push-ups on the floor mastered, you don't need to get on the Bosu ball, okay? This is just, you need to work on some stability, mobility, things like that. All right, and you've mastered the push-up. Here, nice tight tummy, and then wrist it down. So all this is just challenging, your balance. Obviously, you're on a round surface, so it's gonna make your wrists work a little harder to really keep yourself stable, and that's the goal, right? Just challenging. Basically, stability work is challenging your center, challenging your balance, right? So, next one I want to show you is a bottoms up kettlebell. So this is very light. It doesn't look light because it's big, but it's actually like 3 pounds. But you want to use something that's going to be slightly heavy, so it should challenge you, but it shouldn't be so hard that's going to put stress on your shoulders. Because that's not the point. It's not a shoulder strength exercise. Okay, remember, it's just the stability move. Okay, so you basically would take a light dumbbell and then you just hold it like this. So now what you're looking for is that you're not doing this, like that, where it's not like falling this way. You can hold it straight up like this. And you see how my arm is kind of like in a 90-degree angle here. So now from here, you can go rotate out and rotate in and rotate out and rotate in, and then you can rotate up, down. And these movements seem so light and like they might not, like it's just so simple, but that's really all that stability work is challenging your balance and stability slightly. So that way your muscles kind of learn where they need to stay in line and where they need to kind of tense up and flex and things like that to keep you stable during all your movements, obviously. Because if you think about it, okay, so if you can get your wrist nice and strong, whenever you're doing a bench press, the last thing you want to happen is you're holding the bar and your wrists are like this. That's not only going to affect your wrist, but it's also going to affect your strength and how much weight you can press, which is going to affect you putting on muscle. It's going to affect so many things, okay? So that's why making sure our joints are nice and strong and not only mobile but stable is so important, okay? So these silly exercises might not seem like anything, but they really, really are important. And if you're not noticing that your strength isn't increasing and things like that, I would definitely double check, see what your mobility and your stability is looking like, because it might be what's causing that to happen. So same thing, bottoms up, make sure nice and straight, yeah. And then you would just rotate. Remember, this is very light, like these movements should be very light. They're just for some stability work. And these movements can be added to your warm-up. I always like to do dynamic warm-ups, so these are dynamic warm-up style. You can add these to your warm-up, or you can like superset, like let's say you're doing a heavy deadlift, and then in your break, you wanna do some stability work. So you wanna do your single leg work. That's fine, you can throw it in there too. So those are 2 ways that I like to do it. Yeah, or if you just want to have a day where you just do stability work, it's like a rest day and you want to just move a little, you can also do it like that. Okay, cool. So now I want to get into some core stuff. So with the Bosu, we're going to do a bird dog on the Bosu. And again, this is just kind of progressions from the basic bird dog, you know, so hands, feet, hip width apart, opposite arm, opposite leg. Okay, so once you've mastered that, you have a nice good core, that's kind of just seems a little bit too easy, it's not challenging you enough, then you can get on the Bosu, and your knees are actually on the Bosu. Hopefully you can see this. Everybody left the room also, so we're good. All right, cool. So, yeah, so it's the same exact movement here, except you're on a ball, so it's gonna challenge your core that much more. Nice, slow, and controlled, okay guys? So you see you're not like going like this. Like that's not gonna get you anything, you know what I mean? Like you're not giving your core enough time to get in position and then hold it and stabilize it. So a few seconds, like literally just a couple seconds there is really all you need, but you need to make sure you're holding it there. You know, you're not just like breezing through it. Okay, so that's a really good one for really your wrists, but your core as well. And then we're gonna flip that over, and a stability ball is always gonna be great for core, balance, stability, everything, because obviously it's a massive ball that you're working on. So it's gonna be great. A couple things I don't recommend you do on it, which again, silly mistakes that I've made, doing like dumbbell chest presses on it, it's just so unnecessary. I used to think it was like, oh, it's adding like a cool core training factor, but then somebody said, well, no, because you can separate the two, you know, like train your core separately and then focus on your chest press, because you're not getting really the benefit of either of them trying to smush them together, because you're not lifting enough. You cannot do as heavy a dumbbell bench press that you can on a flat bench with support on your back than you can here. I don't care what you're saying or who you are. You can't, you know? You have to use lighter weight, so that's not challenging your strength there. And then the fact that your core is halfway working, it's just like you might as well just separate the two exercises and get more out of it. So again, I've been doing this for over 10 years now, so I've just learned a lot of silly things, and I just want to share that with you. Okay, so let's wrap this up because we got another visitor. So stir the pot is a really good one. So you're basically like in a plank, and then you kind of make the ball move a little bit, and that's gonna challenge your core, because your core has to like pull you back in. It's like trying to oppose the force kind of thing. All right, so here we're in a plank, nice tight tummy, and then you just kind of go like this. Very small movements, okay? They're like very tiny, tiny. You can make circles, you can go up and down, side to side, whatever you want to do, but they're not like massive movements where your butt's coming up in the air and it's like that's not doing anything. So nice bottom, and then go side to side, back and forth, make little circles, okay? That's gonna help, obviously, your core stability, and just your balance. And then we're gonna do, last but not least, hopefully you can see me, yeah? Okay, here, boom, arms up, straight leg, and bring it back. So again, this is if you're very good and the, just a traditional like, dead bug. I'm blanking right now, bro. This is why I don't do it inside, because I always get like nervous that people are gonna catch me and then I can't like speak. So whatever, we're just gonna go for it. The dead bug. So it's if you have your dead bug really well, got it down, and your back doesn't like flare up underneath you, and you can keep your core nice and stable. Then you can add the ball. Okay, so same thing. Boom, tabletop. Okay, cool. All right, guys. So that's kind of basically meant to work in our little series, so our plank and push-up variation series to help you with those handstands. Because you can't do any of that unless you have good ankle stability and mobility, good shoulder, good mobility everywhere. The lower part of it is just kind of like, it's important to have good ankle mobility and knee and everything, stability everywhere. So So yeah, we just kind of ran through all those. I'll make sure I put them in the comments because I feel like I ran through them a little bit fast. But hopefully they help. Try adding them into your workouts. If you're doing like a lower body day, it's a good idea to do the lower body ones, obviously. If you're doing an upper body day, it's a good idea to do the upper body days. The core ones, you can sprinkle in wherever, or you can honestly do all of them. It's not going to matter if you want to do the upper body stability work with your lower body day. It doesn't matter, but that's just a couple different ways that you can structure it. So I hope this was helpful, and I didn't ramble left and right like a crazy person, and that's it. Bye.